Hey guys, talking about another common question, especially if you're starting out with fitness and we're getting to learn how much you can tolerate, how much we need to push. This is where we go from generic programming that you can find anywhere online. You can Google Get Strong Program in the gym, at Planet Fitness, whatever. But this is how we go from a generic program, 3 sets of 10, 4 sets of 6, 10 sets of 3. That's kind of the progression. Very easy to think about these concepts, especially if you've been in the space for a long time. But we want to bring it to rate of perceived exertion. How hard should I be pushing? Should I be going maximum effort so I fail at the end of every set? Or is there a magic number? I think the magic number for gaining and keeping steady and minimizing injury risk is, you ready for this? Write this down or pause it right when I say it. 8 out of 10 rate of perceived exertion. That seems to be a really, really good place to be. What does that translate to for how you feel? Theoretically, it means 80% effort. So if I'm doing 40 pounds on my press here and I finish my set of 10, the other way to think about this is reps in reserve, RIR, okay? So at the end of that 10 reps, I put the weight down. I say, how many more could I have done? If the answer is 2 or 3 more reps and that's it, and you could always test this and do 12 or 13 reps until your arm no longer goes up or whatever the move is. Reps in reserve, 2 to 3 more is a really good way to track this. So the other thought there is if you finish that set and you're like, I couldn't have done any more reps, that's a 10 out of 10 theoretically. That's a maximum set, reps in reserve. 0 is a 10 out of 10 RPE. If you had 1 rep left, we could call it a 9 out of 10, okay? That would be 1 rep left, RIR, 9 out of 10 RPE. Sorry for all the confusion, just trying to really drive this point home so that when you're on your own doing these workouts, you feel like you have confidence with this. So then, again, we want to mostly be working at 8 out of 10, AKA 2 to 3 reps in reserve. If you have like 10 reps in reserve, that's fine for a warm-up. That's fine if you're really new to starting out. If you're in kind of a rehab phase, that might be where we need to be. We don't need to be pushing hard. But if you want to gain some muscle, all right, if we want to really be progressing, we need to keep and dial in and get better at, are we continuing to push? Because your body's going to adapt, your body's going to learn, grow. And so even that 40 pounds I'm talking about here, if I do this right next week, right now it might be a 10 out of 10. So, but next week, if I do this right, hopefully it's only a 9 out of 10, or it's an 8 out of 10 with the same exact weight. Meaning I'm getting stronger and now I can safely start pushing. So if you stay 8 out of 10, you can keep increasing weight as your body makes adaptations. Last thing here, I don't want to make this too long, is the first 6 months of really being exposed to working out is a lot of neurological adaptation. So if you're doing this right, you're mixing things up, at least 6 months, your brain, your body should all be adapting, and you're gonna see pretty good progress for 6 months with almost any decent program, okay? If it's less than that, don't worry. If it's more than that, that's great. Keep progressing. The more, if you're able to go more and more, and again, I've been in this fitness space for my own body for a long time, I'd say at least since high school, is when I really started working out. That was 97 to 2001. So we're talking about over 20 years, right? Math, yes? So think about that. Consistency is how we want to keep working. Also, the last thing I'm going to talk about here, I started talking about RPE, but I want to get this last point in. If you made it this far, thank you, and you're going to really benefit from this point. We almost always want to be thinking about full range of motion, right? All the way down, all the way up and down. So if we're just doing kind of half reps, we really have to understand why we're doing that. I'm not saying it's always wrong, but we really have to understand why we're doing that. So let's think about that concept, full range of motion. We'll get more in depth. If you have questions on any of these concepts, RPE, RIR, neurological gains. What does that mean? Full range of motion for the joints. We're gonna talk about all of it more, but I want y'all to get that. Let me know what you got. Peace, 1% better every day.